Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Today on Variant, I give you the history of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Welcome to Variant. We love comics more than the feeling of thinking you have to pay a bill, but then you remember you already paid it. I'm your host, Arris Quinones. Ever since the Guardians of the Galaxy was announced to be made into a feature film, a bunch of you guys wanted me to make a history of episode on it, but I wanted to wait a little closer to the movie's release date. And since the movie comes out Friday, there's no better time than right now. The original Guardians of the Galaxy were set in the 31st century and created in 1969, making their first appearance in Marvel Superheroes issue 18. They were created by Arnold Drake and Gene Colan. The founding members were Vance Astro and or Major Victory, who had been found in suspended animation, Charlie 27, a soldier from Jupiter, Yondu, who's from the first planet ever colonized outside the Sun's solar system, and Martin X, who's a crystal alien from Pluto. As I said, the original Guardians are from an alternate timeline from the 31st century, but of course they travel to the 20th century to fight alongside other Marvel superheroes. They appeared sporadically in several Marvel titles such as Marvel 2-in-1 issues 4 and 5 and Giant Size Defenders issue 5. In each case, other heroes such as Captain America, The Thing, and the Defenders would help them in their war against the alien Badoon. In the early 1990s, the Guardians of the Galaxy started in a self-titled comic that ran for 62 issues and continued until its cancellation with issue 62 in July of 1995, which brings us to the Guardians of the Galaxy we know today and the ones that the movie is based off of. The second volume of Guardians of the Galaxy was published in May of 2008, written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. The new Guardians of the Galaxy were formed by Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. He's a human-alien cyborg hybrid, so essentially he's everything awesome, all wrapped up in one. Having already went through 2 intergalactic wars, including an attack by the cybernetic alien race, the Phylants, Star-Lord decides to form a team of interstellar heroes that will be proactive in protecting the galaxy, rather than reacting to crises as they happen. He recruits Adam Warlock, Drax the Destroyer, Gamora, Quasar, Rocket Racoon, and Groot with Mantis as support staff. And since this is a history of episode, I'm going to break down each member of the team a little bit so we could all know a little bit more about them, starting with Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is a synthetic being created by human scientists called the Enclave to become their ideal template for a new race of humans that would one day rule the Earth. However, their creation called him rebelled, turning against them, and went on to become Adam Warlock. He's actually a big part of the Marvel Intergalactic Universe, so I expect to see him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe really soon. If he's not already going to be making a cameo in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I wouldn't know because the movie isn't out yet. Moving on, we have Drax the Destroyer. After he and his family were killed by Thanos, Arthur Douglas was recreated as an Eternal by Mentor and Kronos with the sole purpose of destroying Thanos. Drax is the father of Moondragon, a Titan priestess and former Avenger. But what do we learn from this brief summary of Drax? Well, that if they keep true to his comic roots in the movies, he's going to eventually have one hell of a fight scene with Thanos. And on a personal note, I just gotta say, Drax's updated look is way cooler than his original. Next, we have another green-skinned alien, and that would be Gamora. Gamora was saved as a child by Thanos. Through Thanos' training, she became a highly skilled and feared galactic assassin. Using her new formidable skills and abilities, she gained the reputation and title of the deadliest woman in the universe. Now, some of you may be like, hey, if Thanos saved her and raised her, why does she have beef with him now and fight with the good guys? Well, the answer is as follows. Drax has targeted Gamora's ship due to her relationship to Thanos and destroyed the ship. As Gamora was dying, Adam Warlock was able to take her soul into the Soul Gem. It was after this that Gamora eventually discovered Thanos was obsessed with death and planned to commit stellar genocide, so she quit serving her adopted father. Then you have Quasar, or Phyla Vale. Phyla is the genetic offspring or clone of Elysius of Titan and Captain Marvel of the Kree. She is an Eternal and Kree hybrid. Moving on yet again, we have another green-skinned Guardian, and that would be Mantis. Mantis is one of the most well-traveled characters in the Marvel Universe. Her role and development of the team was more than just offering psychological support. However, it is soon revealed after a terrorist attack by a team of Super Skrulls that Mantis had actually telepathically nudged the team's members into accepting Peter's plans and joining the team. Next, we have a huge walking, sort of talking tree from Planet X named Groot. Groot is an alien known as a Floral Colossus. He has super strength due to his enormous size and is mostly used as a heavy assault trooper by the Guardians of the Galaxy. What people will notice about Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is all he says is, "I am Groot," which makes for some pretty hilarious moments in the comics, and judging by the trailers, it will in the movie as well. Even though Groot only ever says, "I am Groot," it was revealed by the Inhuman Maximus that Groot actually has a vast intellect. It is never commented that this may also just be due to Maximus's battle with sanity, but either way, Groot's an awesome character. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Rocket Racoon. Rocket Racoon is an expert in weaponry and is a strategist for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not to mention, him and Groot together are one of the best team-ups in comics, so I'm really excited to see them together on the big screen. As for where did Rocket come from, he's a genetically enhanced animal from a planet reserved for treating the mentally ill. Essentially, robots took care of the mentally ill on this planet, but when the robots became sentient, they decided that caring for the loonies, as they called them, was a waste of their time. So they genetically enhanced the patient's animals, and boom, Rocket Raccoon. It gets convoluted a bit and is eventually retconned, but I just had to tell you guys because it's freaking weird. More recently, with Marvel Now, Iron Man became a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy with an armor dubbed the God Killer, which I gotta say is an awesome name for an armor. Now that's just my brief summary of Guardians of the Galaxy and most of the characters who have been on their roster. With that said, only Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Groot, and Rocket Raccoon are going to be appearing on the team in the movie. But it would be awesome to see Adam Warlock eventually joining the team, or even some other characters from the comics that I've mentioned. I do also want to mention briefly Ronan the Accuser, since he's going to be the main bad in the movie, even though he's not a bad guy per se. He can bounce back and forth depending on the circumstance. Ronan is a Kree soldier who becomes the leader of the Kree Public Accuser Corps. After Ronan completed his formal education, he enrolled in the Kree Public Accuser Corps. Ronan responded well to his training and was constantly promoted. He is eventually made Supreme Accuser of the Kree Empire, responsible for enforcing the laws and decrees of the Supreme Intelligence. He carries a hammer called the Universal Weapon, which is the strongest weapon the Kree have. It can do all sorts of cool stuff like Thor's hammer, but unlike Thor's hammer, which is the only one, there's multiple universal weapons. Ronan just has the strongest one. But as always, it's now time for reading recommendations. You have Annihilation Conquest Books 1 and 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 Legacy, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 Cosmic Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Angela, and Guardians of the Galaxy by Jim Valentino Volume 1. I think that should be enough to hold you over. Buying razors sucks, right? You have to go to the store and shell out like 20 bucks for some ridiculous razor contraption. My razors work perfectly fine without the vibrating handle and built-in airbag and seat warmer. Fortunately, there's a company that's doing away with all that ridiculousness. It's called Dollar Shave Club, and it couldn't be simpler. For a few bucks a month, Dollar Shave Club ships amazing razors and other bathroom stuff right to your front doorstep. Their blades are just as good as the big shave companies at a fraction of the price. Look at that razor. That's a sharp-looking razor. They also have Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter to make your shave even more buttery smooth. And you have to try One Wipe Charlie's. They're peppermint-infused butt wipes for men. That's right, butt wipes are no longer for babies, and once you use one of these bad boys, you're not going to want to go back. Shave time, shave money. Join now at dollarshaveclub.com/variant. First up for Wednesday, July 30th, we have Harley Quinn issue 8. It all comes down to this. Harley finally tracks down some of the mysterious hired killers who have vexed her since the start of this series. Next, we have Batman Eternal issue 17. Years ago, Gotham City faced a power Batman could barely overcome. Now, deep beneath Arkham Asylum, he will rise again. Next, we have Justice League issue 32. Lex Luthor continues his acclamation to his new life as one of the world's greatest heroes, as they search for the mysterious power threatening to unravel our world. And finally, we have The Wake issue 10. This is the final issue for this miniseries. Thus far, it's been one of the best sci-fi horror concepts I've read or seen in recent years, and I have complete faith it's going to finish strong. Well, that brings another episode of Variant to a close, but before I leave you guys, I have to announce the winner of last week's Versus episode, and you guys voted that the Joker would beat Green Goblin. Until next week, though, you can like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow me on the world of Twitter if you so wish at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I will see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics.